Sam, good to have you on, bro.
How you doing, my man?
Yeah, absolutely privileged to have you here, man.
Thanks.
So, obviously we know each other from SAS Who Dares Wins, but, you know, we've sort of formed more of a friendship since leaving.
Yep.
I'd say probably, you know, one of the closest people I'm to from the show is you. So, you know, great to have you here. And I think, for me, your story really is going to inspire a lot of people, because often you don't meet people, in particularly young black men, who've been able to go through what you went through and completely like 360 it, turn it around. And I think it'll be an inspiration for a lot of people that I work with, especially when I go into prisons, and the vast majority of young men in there are young black men. I just think your story is inspirational. So why don't you take us back to sort of family life when you were growing up? I think we got a picture of you somewhere here.
Take you back to the start.
There you go. That was you. So yeah, let's go back to there. Where was that?
That was Joseph Lancaster. That was Joseph Lancaster. It's young, just trying to find my way through life at that point as well. Like, you know, everything was just fresh.
Yeah,
everything was just fresh. I remember at that point, my dad wasn't like around that much, so it was almost a case where the teachers were almost like my parents.
Mm-hmm.
Like, looking back now, the other day I was just thinking about it. It's like, initially I didn't take this in, but I feel like the teachers realized that my dad wasn't around. My mum wasn't around because she had been deported. My dad wasn't around. I feel like the teachers kind of took me on as like their little foster child. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember our caretaker. She was like she's like this old woman with 2 cats. I remember there was a day we went like museum and stuff, and when I look back now, at the time I'm just a kid. I'm just you know, we're going out to a museum. But looking back, I'm thinking that why did the caretaker like take me out to a museum? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what made me realize that these must probably have realized the situation between, like, in my family was like kind of crazy, and let them take me on. So yeah, that was a crazy time, but that was like the beginning of a lot.
So where was your family heritage from?
Nigeria.
Both parents from Nigeria.
Both parents are from Nigeria.
And what happened? So you said your mum was deported and your dad left. So just talk everyone through that.
So basically, my mum got deported when I was like, I don't know, I think I was maybe like 2.
Wow.
So I couldn't even like I only had pictures to go off growing up until maybe about year 4 is when I saw my mum. I don't know, but for a long while I didn't have no mum in my life. It was just me, my brother, and my dad. And obviously 2 kids. My dad's trying to get the daily bread, plus he's got ambitions and goals, so he's working his ass off. So pretty much it's just me and my brother just finding our way through life. Do you know what I mean? Pretty much finding our way through life, just doing whatever we can. But like at that time, I never ever took it in that like you guys are actually going through some stuff. At that time, I didn't. I just thought that's how it is. This is the way it is, you know. But yeah, so that's the situation with my mum. My brother, he was about 3, so he had a bit of he remembered my mum more than I did. But
so he's older brother. You're younger.
My older brother.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm the younger brother. So he was either 3 or 4. I can't remember all the details, but yeah, he had more memory of my mum than I did. I had no memory whatsoever because I was a kid. So just all I knew was my dad, and my brother. Growing up.
You would have been 1 or 2 when your mum.
Yeah, between 1 or 2. You know,
wow, it's quite an important age, isn't it, for your mum to be gone?
To be gone, you know, to be gone. So it's crazy. The other day I was watching this. I don't know if you've heard of Top Boy.
Oh yeah, it's a documentary, isn't it?
It's like a film.
It's
kind
like
of thing.
There's actors
film
in it.
documentary kind of film.
Yeah.
But I was watching it, and there was a part in the film where immigration knocked on the family's doors, and then they didn't take the kid's mum at this stage, but I could tell that sooner or later they're gonna take her, and that just brought me right back to this. Must probably was had I been, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, this was probably how the situation that I was in growing up, you know. But
Yeah. Do you have any memories of that moment when your mum was taken away?
Nah, my brother does, because I think he wasn't meant to open the door.
Okay.
Yeah, so he wasn't meant to open the door, but he opened the door, you know, knock. Yeah, go and open the door. He's gone and open the door, and it's immigration come to take my mum. So, yeah, that's one of them ones. Just grew up with no mum.
That's tough, mate. I feel, you know, when I try and visualise that scene, you've got kids as well, and I've got kids. You know, that moment, what you'd be going through as a kid, trying to just wrap your head around that whole. There's people here to take your mum away.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really quite brutal, isn't it?
Yeah,
really.
For my brother, like he always gets, you know, emotional by that moment. But like I said, I wish I had more memory of it, but I couldn't even remember. I was too young.
Yeah,
you know.
So then, what happened after? So was your dad just away because he was working a lot, or
just working. Just working. He was trying to, you know, support 2 kids. Like I said, also he's got ambition, so he's trying to build businesses.
Yeah.
Also, he's having to, you know, look after my mum. So now she's in a different country now. So. Did
your mum go back to Nigeria?
Yeah, she went back to Nigeria, then went to Canada.
Okay, she was in Canada, right? Okay.
Yeah, so she was in Canada. My dad was just busy working. So me and my brother just pretty much had to. I mean, my dad was there, but at the same time, I'll say we brought ourselves up.
Yeah, right.
Do you know what I mean? So
that must have been really tough for your dad, trying to just do everything, play the role of mum and dad.
Yeah, pretty. For him, I'm guessing it was. I'll give him this though. I never ever saw him say, "Oh, like, why am I stuck with you 2 kids?" Like, I never ever saw him like that. He's always just get on with it. Let's just go. That's always been his attitude. I think that's rubbed off on me. To just be like, whatever's in front of you, just get on and go. Just like, you're still breathing, your heart's still working, your legs, arms still working. Yep, all right, keep going, keep up with it. You know.
Yeah. Well, that would make sense when you look at everything you've overcome. You know, you've sort of overcome some real tough stuff. This being one of them.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely.
Yeah.
I think that was like the start of it. You know.
So, what part of London was it that you grew up in?
So I grew up in Elephant and Castle initially. From Elephant and Castle, I then went on to Camberwell. I was born in Croydon, moved to Elephant and Castle. From Elephant and Castle, we then went over to Camberwell.
And that Camberwell is where you sort of spent most of your time, your teenage years and stuff like that?
Yeah, so Camberwell is pretty much where everything started to, like, the gangster life started to come in ever so slowly.
Yeah? We got a photo of that, actually, if we could get that up. So that's sort of, how old were you? So this is when you'd moved to Camberwell. How old would you have been there in this photo?
That photo, 18, 19 at most. That was a New Year's. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was either 2008. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a New Year's. And yeah, that was, it was a good day, but it was a good day in a bad world, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, of course. So I think run people through that. So you've grown up essentially with your dad.
Yeah.
And you're in Camberwell. You know, life's been a bit tough, and I presume there's other people in your community who've had similar experiences. What was that like?
So moved to Camberwell. Me and my brothers was at the new kids inside the area, and initially it was fine, you know, it was just getting on with stuff. And then as I got to about year 9, that's when, like, gangs started to form. I became, like, I would say, part of a gang, part of the area gang. It wasn't nothing serious at that point. It was just, you know, you knew you guys were from this area, other guys were from that area. Do you know what I mean? So, and that was about in year 9, and then when it got later on down the line, when I got to, like, college, that's when things started to get serious. Because I was from Camberwell. Camberwell was, like, a place in between Peckham and Brixton.
Right.
Peckham and Brixton are 2 big gangs. Like, they're full of 2 big gangs. And it got to a point where us in Camberwell just thought, you know what, like, we need to put ourselves on the map as well. You know, we can't just be that place where people just, like, cross through. Why? I don't know, but that was our mindset.
Yeah. So
from there, you know, we formed a gang, and then just got into, like, silliness, really.
How old were you then when you decided to create that gang in between Peckham and Brixton?
I would have been about 16.
16.
Yeah, I would have been about 16
And
at that time.
how many were in your gang? How many kids were there?
Oh, I can't. Off the top of my head, I'll say there's about 10 of us.
10 of you, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
maybe more, but like
Yeah.
10 core. Do you know what I mean? 10. There was 10 core, individuals.
Yeah.
And then I mean, it was just getting up to stupid stuff, man. Stupid stuff.
Do you feel like they sort of became like a family for you? Because like your family was a bit sort of, your dad was very busy working and your mum wasn't there. Did you guys feel like a family unit, or
yeah? I mean, yeah,
like a brotherhood or something?
Yeah, I would say I'd say it's more of a brotherhood. Like, you can relate to these guys. In your eyes, you're all going through the same kind of thing. You're all trying to reach the same goal. To get rich or whatever, or to look a certain way, whatever. But you've got the same goals. You're from the same area. You relate to each other. You only end up seeing them as brothers. It's a band of brothers that just getting together and just getting up to some silly stuff. Do you know what I mean?
It's interesting that, when people have been through similar experiences, it really sort of bonds you a little bit closer together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, because you can relate to each other, isn't it? You can relate to each other. But like, I would say that for me though, it just happened to be. I just happened to be part of a gang. I was never like in a gang because I wanted to be the most violent or I wanted to like cause havoc. It wasn't like that. I reckon the reason I end up in a gang, one, I wanted to make money. I wanted to make money, which led me to a certain direction in life. And two, because I wasn't the most violent person, but neither was I like the person that you just walk over. So that kind of made me settle with that kind of crowd. Do you know what I'm trying to say? So I think that's what put me into the gang. Because there was other people from my estate that, I mean, they didn't, they kept their nose cleanish. They were around, but they wasn't around and involved. But I feel like where I had like certain ambitions, and because I wasn't like just somebody that you could just walk over, me and my brother, it wasn't just people that you could just walk over. So that gave us a certain respect, and that respect then, you start hanging around with these guys instead of those guys that don't have, the respect that you feel like you should be given.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
So talk to me about, you said you went to college. Like, you've left college and, you've maybe tried to make some positive life choices, and like what happened? Because I know you got into some trouble with the law after, but was there a moment in between where you tried looking at other ways? And
it's crazy. Like, I'll take you right back to like, for me, everything started pretty much when my dad ended up losing all of these contracts.
Right.
So there's a time, I think I was about in year 7, moving on to year 8. My dad lost all of his work contracts.
Right.
So you wake up in the morning, and where there used to be money on the table for you to go to school with, it just wasn't there. If it was there, it was just enough to catch the bus.
Right.
So, and this was like in year 8. I'm in year 8, year 7, year 8 at this time. So, you still gotta feed yourself. You still gotta, you wanna get clothes or a jacket. You still wanna have some money to do some stuff, not just enough money to catch a bus. So that made me think, okay, my dad's not gonna give me money, but I want to be able to buy these nice trainers that I see people wearing and stuff like that. So what am I gonna do? From there, I think it was year 8 or year 9, I bought my first pot of weed and started to sell that. Started to deal that in year 8. I had like a little organization going on. From there, nothing serious. I wasn't like this big time dealer or anything, but I was just selling a bit of weed at school.
Hustling.
Yeah, just hustling. Just hustling. From there, from year 9, it then moved to like, other silly little stuff. Just nicking stuff and then just trying to sell it back at school, like snacks and stuff. By the time I got to year 11, that weed turned into Class A, so cocaine. By the time I was in year 11, like literally dealing cocaine. And yeah, that was crazy. That was, it's crazy selling cocaine in your school uniform. It's not a good place to be in whatsoever. So anyway, coming out of secondary school, going to college now, and the pressures are even more. At the time when I was doing it at secondary school, I was just trying to get a little bit of change. I wasn't too fussed. But you come out of secondary school now you're in college, and it's like, whoa, everyone looks fly, everyone looks nice, everyone looks good. You got girls there you're trying to impress, and you don't want to be the one that's looking bummy. So that's when I thought, you know what, I'm going into this hard. I'm going to sell as much as I can, dress the best I can, and just live life the way I felt like I wanted to live life, rather than just looking or being just bummy. And so yeah, that started getting deeper and deeper, selling, dealing, hustling and whatnot, getting deeper and deeper and deeper into it, to a stage where I wasn't taking college seriously anymore. I really wasn't. I was there. I mean, I tried. Initially, I really did try, but then my first college, ended up getting into a fight, ended up getting kicked out. Second college, this is what actually killed me. So my second college, me and a friend of mine, we tried so hard. We worked hard. We gave in our coursework on time and everything. But the teacher, for some reason, didn't mark it until right at the end. And then there was stuff that we had to correct. And she gave it back to us, but there was not enough time for us to correct it. So I end up not passing, failing that year. And I was like, I actually gave this a try, and I'm not going through because she didn't want to mark my coursework on time. I was like, you know what, to hell with this. I'm going forget college. I'm going full time into hustling.
So that was almost like the final nail in the coffin.
Yeah, that was the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, and I guess you wanted to put all your eggs into your business, which it's an illegal business, selling drugs, but that was your business. That was your form of earning money.
Yeah, pretty much. And then so that was it. I just went full time, started to go country, build up a country line and all of that nonsense. And it was just out there just trying to make it.
Was there ever a moment, because I know if people are listening they might be thinking, was there a moment where you thought to yourself, maybe I should just go and get a job? And was there anything like that where you thought, did you look at people who had jobs and think, that's out of reach for me? Or maybe say a bit more about that.
Yeah, let me explain that part. You see, the thing is, right, and I think a lot of people relate to this. A lot of people that are hustlers or whatever relate to this. It's like you have ambitions of a pot of gold, yeah, and then you see ways of getting there, yeah. You see ways of getting there in terms of working at a big West End job and blah blah blah, owning this big company and blah blah blah. And you don't feel like you, from where you've come from, can actually, you don't relate to none of that. You can't see yourself as somebody that is going to be working inside the city, or is going to be the head of a big business, a big legitimate business anyway. And those people that you even do see that are kind of similar to you working, they're working in some, I won't say bummy, now I won't say bummy, but at them times I used to see it as a bummy job. You ain't gonna get nowhere far with that kind of job. Then you look again to your left, to the other side of it, and then you see the people that have got that pot of gold that you can actually relate to, they're selling drugs, or they're making music, and their music, maybe they said in their music they're saying they started from selling drugs. Do you know what I mean? So you get to a stage where you're thinking, you know what? If they made their pot of gold from selling drugs, then surely
that's the only route
that's
I've got.
the only route
Yeah.
I've got. Surely, this
Yeah.
is the route that I've got to take.
Mm.
I looked around, all the rappers that were the people that I inspired to, what like in terms of what they had, what were they saying they made their money from? Selling drugs.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean? So I'm looking at people that I can somewhat relate to, and they've got what I want to have, and that's how they're saying they got it too. So I'm like, you know what?
Do you
That's my
think,
path.
because I relate to what you're saying, I definitely grew up on a council estate, and I definitely looked at people and was like, that's just way out of reach for me. But I think hearing your side of it, skin colour must have played a part in that as well. Because I know when I looked up the chain at rich people, that it seemed really out of reach for me. But you had the added thing that most of the successful people I knew were all rich white people. So I'm just wondering, was that another aspect of it where you was like, yeah, it's even further out of reach for me?
Yeah, no, for sure. Growing up, I always thought that even if I was in front of like a big executive and I had the chance, the fact that I was black will decrease that chance. They'll be like, nah, you're not going to get this job. We're going to give it to somebody else. That was always, growing up as a black person, you always think that's what's embedded into your mind, that like you can only get so far until you reach people that are maybe are not of your skin color, and because you're of this skin color, you're gonna be the last choice. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was growing up, but now my mindset has changed. I understand a lot different, but definitely growing up, that's the way I saw things.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
Exactly, yeah. And I think you've painted a perfect picture there, in that the role models who were like successful black guys were drug dealers and rap artists.
Yeah.
And the legit way of life, all of them were sort of white people, and it just didn't seem in reach for you.
No, totally.
At all, yeah. So if you just run us through sort of, you started the drug dealing, you done the county lines and stuff, and then next thing, now you get caught. Run us through getting caught and what happened there.
Yeah, so just as I was, it's always the case as well, but just as I was deciding to wrap it up, I was like, you know what, I'm done with this life. Like, I'm going to invest in the business. Like, I'm done. Just as I made that decision, I decided to go to Nigeria, just as a little holiday with the family. When I came back, 3 days after coming back, about 3 days after coming back, I got caught. So I came back and I decided to go back onto my country, and just for a few days, just to get rid of what I had. Boom, there was an operation on me going on before I had even travelled. So as I come back, there's yep, we're not letting him get away again this time. Boom, we're grabbing him. So I got grabbed, and when I got grabbed, I knew it was all over, because I had like a lot of drugs on me at that time. I had money on me, so I just knew that was the end of that. So yeah.
Was it all Class A you had on you?
Yeah, it was all Class A.
Yeah.
It was all Class A.
So what happened? You got caught. Police station.
Did
you get bail or?
No bail. No, it was
bail.
kind of
Taken to remand.
Yeah, because I was caught with quite a bit of money. So I in my head, I knew that this was it. Like, I just knew that, when you got that feel that, this is it.
This is done.
This is the end of the road.
How much were you caught with?
Well, quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Where did they take you? Was it a young offenders, or would it have been adult prison?
Straight adult prison.
Where did you go?
Norwich.
Norwich, right? Okay.
Yeah, Norwich. Straight into Norwich.
What was it like in Norwich prison?
It was funny, because there was times where I would see people that I was dealing to outside, because I was dealing in that area, so I would see them in there, and it was like, you're all like this now, you're all on the same level now. It's like, do you know what I mean? So, and some of them that owed you money, you're like,
Jeez,
do you know what I mean? So it was a bit funny, but prison was interesting. It's what changed a lot. It changed a lot in me. I think it was the beginning of the change. Initially, I just saw prison as, this is something I just got to ride out, just go through the system, survive it however you need to survive it, and just, that's it. But then I realized at some point that actually I can take control of this situation. I can use this time in a better way, rather than just having it like, you're in jail, go in jail, come out. this is actually time for me to study. This is time for me to work on my weaknesses. This is time for me to really get in tune with whoever I might be. Do you know what I mean? So I started reading. But prior to that, I always thought that I couldn't read. Like, I couldn't read. Like, that was just in my head. You can't read. I wasn't good in English growing up, so I had that in my mind. But then when I went to jail, no help. No, it's not like I went to this English course or nothing. I just picked up a book. I think it was by Brian Tracy. I just picked up a book and I just started reading. And then there was a time when I was in, and that was like a mental health book, but there was a time when I was in SEG. So I don't know if you know what SEG is. When
segregation.
Segregation. So I was in segregation and I asked for a book and I finished the whole book. And it was weird, like...
What was the book?
It was, I think it was about fashion or some two guys on a holiday. You know, it was definitely not something that I generally would read. But when you're in segregation, the book is at your TV. It's like, you see what I mean? It's the only thing that you have. Yeah. So
I guess that was a milestone for you. It was the first book you ever read. It was almost like, if I can do this one, I can read more.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly that. So I was like, whoa, hold on. Yeah. You just read this book back to front. You know? Like, this is a book. It's not, you know. Like, if you can
not
do it
even
here.
A topic you're interested in.
You know what I mean? So if you can do it here, you can read any book. Then I just started to read books, different books, psychology, autobiographies. I like to read real life stories. If it's not real life stories, but like something that I can translate into real life. Do you know what I mean? I'm not too much of a fairy tale person. I like to read real life. So I started to read different autobiographies. I started to read different like self-development books, books about business, because I was always interested in business anyway. I just happened to be doing the wrong kind of business.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, and then it was literally a point towards the end of my sentence. There's a book that changed it changed my view on everything. Is when I really had that self-belief. It was two books. So one of the books was Malcolm X. Yeah. His autobiography. I read, like, I was glued onto that book. You know, I was glued onto the book, and I was also inspired because he was like a complete drug addict going into prison. He came out of prison like, you know, one of the best debaters in America has ever had. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, he was you know, he had some bad things attached to him, but he also changed his life big time, and he also done a lot of good in his community. Yeah. So like that was very inspiring. That gave me hope that, you know, if he, just like me, went in prison on the wrong side of the pavement and came out on the other side, being able to like speak in front of like whoever need be, like if he can do that, I can do it. You know, I can change my life, and I can be, you know, something more than what I was. And then the other book was the E-Myth. Yeah. The E-Myth. This is a business book.
Yeah, I've seen that book.
Yeah. So one of my prison mates, cell mates, whatever, he was leaving the prison in like 3 weeks' time. He had this book. He was like, read this book, but I'm leaving. So it was a big, thick book. And I said, you know what? I'm going to read this book back to front, and I'm going to create my own version of the book. So every night, like, even when they turned off the lights, like, I was just used to use that, the little gap that used to come through the door. And every night I'll read a bit of the book and I'll write it on the paper, read it, because I knew that I didn't have enough time to really dig into this book, but I had enough time to read it and copy it. Like, this book is a book that you need to slowly dissect and understand. So I was just reading that book and writing down. Managed to do the whole book before he left. But because I was reading that book and writing down in my own words, it let me understand business. So then that made me feel like, you know what, when I come out, I can turn things around. I know what it takes. If this is what it takes to build a business, I know what it takes. I could do this. Wow. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, yeah.
Isn't that amazing? Because you already had the hustling mentality from what you were doing. You've just applied that to, like, you know, sort of a legal way of doing it.
No, that is it.
Yeah.
That literally was it. And I think that's, you know what? I think that's a lot of people's problem is that they have that hustling mentality. They just, or that hustler's drive, but they don't mean to do it. They don't mean to do it in the wrong way. But it's just all they know. It's just all that's like presented to them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just if they look around and they look at their influences, that's what's like, you know, influencing them. So they just think, okay, let me just do that. If they believed that they could do it in a different way, then I'm sure that they will.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And that's why your story is so important, because the amount of people, you know, I was in Cook and Wood prison yesterday, ran a course for 10, 14 to 17-year-olds, all young black men, all just a lot of them have done drug dealing, all of them curious, like, how do you do this? And it's like, you know, your message is crucial. Is like, you know, educate yourself, get a book, read that book, like the Malcolm X book. I'm going to recommend that every time I go in now, and the E-Myth. So let's fast forward. So you get released.
Yeah.
You've now got this new information about where you want to go with your life. Like, what happens now? What do you decide to do?
So I get out, and you know, it wasn't easy. I won't sit here and say like, yeah, I got out and I could just change everything around. No, I got out, and yeah, you know, I've got out, and I'm about to be a father, because as I was coming to the end of my prison sentence, I start getting home leaves. Got home leaves, and I got my missus pregnant. During the home leave, then funny enough, my home leaves got cut off. So it got cut off because of like some incident that happened in prison. Right. I ended up getting put back into a decap prison. So now I'm coming to the end of my sentence. You know, I've been away for like 2 years, and I'm coming out, and I've got a kid on the way.
Wow. Now it's real.
Now what do you do? You know, now what do you do? Do you want to just be one that says the statistics and be like, don't give a damn about my kid? Or do you want to be like, no, you know what, let me make a better future for my family, let me create a family here, let me make a difference, you know? So I decided that I'm gonna go down the path of making a difference. Let me stick around, let me be part of her life, be part of Mrs. life. Made that decision, but then, you know, you come out and the bills start calling, the money starts calling, and you're thinking like, where am I gonna get it from? You know. Still at that time, in all honesty, I didn't wanna go and put myself in like a general 9 to 5. There's something about 9 to 5 in that I just don't want to do. Do you know what I mean? Just because I feel like I could do so much more with my time. I always want to be in control of my time. I always feel like I can always do more with my time. I can always give more of my time. I didn't want to give it to another boss. I just didn't want to. So I didn't go down the 9 to 5 path for a long while. I was just like literally just living off whatever I could, you know. But at the same time, still having at the back of my mind, my daughter's coming. I need to sort this out. I need to get this together. End up doing like a little bit of work for this company. They were like an advertising company, but they wasn't together. But I ended up doing some work for them. After like a few months, I decided that this isn't going nowhere. This is not for me. I was almost going to give up and just like go back to, you know, the
old way of life.
The old way of life, because to be honest with you, it's like it was there. It was like a phone call away. Do you know what I mean? But I decided not to. I decided that I'm gonna just do some courier work. So I was working for City Link. I don't know if you know that company. It was
their delivery and stuff.
Delivery company. Unfortunately, they went bust. But I was working for them. But even when I was working for them, I still had in the back of my mind that what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna work for them for a little while. But then I'm gonna start having my own vans. That I'm gonna get my own van and then start, you know, my own fleet and just work underneath them, but even with my own business. You know what I mean? So I always had my own business in the back of my mind. But during the time that I was working for them, I was at the gym one day, and a friend of mine was like, "Man, you should be a personal trainer, man. Look at you, man. When you train, you know, people look at you when you train. You know your stuff. You look at your body, this, that." I was like, this guy's crazy, man. You know, I'm not a PT. Like, what do I know about fitness? You know, I'm just here. I'm just doing my thing. You know. Anyway, he kept on going on at me. He kept on
so he saw something that you couldn't see. He saw something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I thought, okay, you know what? Let me research this thing. Let me see how much they make. That's always the bottom line, you know.
Of course.
Let me see if it's worth my while. I started checking. I said, you know what? These guys actually make some decent money, and also, you know, things are in their control. If you don't want to work, you don't have to work. Well, it depends how you set yourself up. You know, it's in your control. You can somewhat set your own price, you know, depending on how hard you want to work, how much of a reputation you want to create. Something that I was never shy of hard work. So I thought, all right, I'm going to give this a go.
Nice.
I'm going to give this a go. So I took the course. I beat it out, like literally done as much work as I can. It was like, I didn't have to go there. They sent the work to me. So I done as much of the work I can, went there, done the first exam, passed it, passed the practical, but then failed the theory. So I was like, oh man, what do I do? You know, I failed the theory. All right, go again. Don't give up. My miss was like, yeah, you know, just go. Like,
it's like your dad, what your dad would say, right?
Don't give up. Go again. Boom, done it, passed it. Then went to the level 3, same thing. I thought, yeah, I got this. I understood it. I thought, yeah, I done even more revision. First exam, boom, failed. Oh, what the hell? I just want to get started, you know, but I'll keep on failing. All right, don't give up. You come this far. Keep on going. Went back, second time, aced the exam.
Wow, well done, mate.
Yeah, aced the exam. So now I'm there. I've got my certificates. I just started personal training.
We got a photo here, haven't we, of the personal training? Not this one. Go to the next one. There you go.
So yeah, that was one section of my personal training. This was like, that photo there was taken when I after like 3 years of personal training.
Yeah.
I invested my money in a gym. It was Yorkie's gym.
Right.
So I went from being a personal trainer to co-owning a gym. It was a bodybuilding gym.
Yeah.
And yeah, you see the YG way. That wall, I actually painted it with my own hands. That wall.
That's amazing, mate.
So yeah.
So the personal training sort of done well enough for you to put money into getting your own gym with someone else.
Yeah. Literally, that's literally what happened. So personal training, just working my ass off. Like literally, I start 6 a.m, finish at like 10.
Yeah.
You know, like just going back and forth, working my ass off, building up my reputation, putting in those hours. When there's no clients, just walking around the gym, making my face known. Before I knew it, I had a great reputation, known for body transformations. Started competing, doing like bodybuilding competitions as well, so getting known as like the bodybuilder in the gym.
Yeah.
Before I knew it, had a great, strong reputation, had clients that coming in through the door. And from there, I just thought, you know, what's the next level? I'm always trying to look for what's next. How do I move from where I am to the next level? What's next? It's own a gym.
That's incredible, mate.
So then I started speaking to a friend of mine. She owned this gym, Yorkies, and she was having she wasn't getting on so great with her business partner at that time. And I also saw that there was so much missing in the business. There was so much that they could add, so much that they wasn't doing. So I thought, you know what, I had to work, you know, we had a little sit down, and then before I knew it, me and I was business partners, turned the gym around, and yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. I think for anyone listening, if you're, you know, from the areas in London that are struggling, the key parts of that story for me are you failing the test, you coming out of prison, there being easy money there, and you not taking it and choosing the harder route, and then getting knockbacks, failing the test and not giving up. And then when you get the qualification, you're in at 6 and you're finishing at 10. It's hard work.
It is.
So it's like determination and hard work is really what you need.
It really is. But I would say even before even determination and hard work, there's something that comes before that. And if I track back to coming out of jail, this is what kept me off of the path, is you have to have self-belief. Self-belief is the beginning. Without that, without self-belief, forget it. There's nothing there. You can kid yourself, you can fool yourself, but you won't get that far, because you'll get knockbacks. You know, when I came out of jail, the same desires like that got me started was there. You know, nice cars, nice clothes. I was wearing my dad's clothes at a point.
Wow.
Like literally, I wear my dad's clothes, and in my head I was like, you know, as long as I put it together right,
Yeah.
nobody, like, who knows? Do you
Yeah.
know? I don't know if you know this old school name brand, Ciro Centerio. They were old school, like,
Really?
old school. I was wearing that. Do you know? This was my dad's old jumper, but I was just like, I am not going back. You know, to that old life. I'm not going back. I can actually do this. I've got enough to do this. Like I've got what it takes. It might not come today. It might be a slow process, but I've got what it takes. I am enough. Do you know what I mean? And just slowly, just plowing away with that mindset. You've got enough. You are enough. You don't need to do anything else. Just keep on plowing away. Before I knew I was on the right path. But like I said, without having that self-belief, nothing else could be done. And I feel like in today's day and age and today's world, self-belief is something that's like, it's chipped away at you, man. You know, it's chipped away at you. Even like social media is why I have a kind of like a love-hate relationship with it, is because there's a lot of people out there that have so much to give, information-wise, and on social media and whatnot. They have so much to give. However, just because like they see like other pictures, of other people, and they feel like, oh, you know what, I couldn't give it like how that person's giving it. Or I couldn't every day like show like a nice picture of me in this country and that country. I couldn't do that. So no, I'm not gonna voice out. I'm not gonna give the world what I can give the world. I'm not gonna, I'm not gonna take it that far. I'm just gonna sit back and just post my regular pictures, or just like, go through scrolling, liking. But if that person was to have enough self-belief, they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe actually the way I've changed my life around could actually inspire somebody and could help somebody.
Yeah.
Let me go out there and do it. But it's just that self-belief.
Yeah. Vision, isn't it? It's having a better vision of a better version of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, that's why I just love your story, Sam, and I think that's why we connected so deeply on the show. You know, it was just like, I just love all this stuff. I think it's inspirational, and it just needs to be heard. People need to hear this story.
Thank you, man.
So you've got the gym, SAS Who Dares Wins. So let's talk about that. Have we got a picture up of SAS Who Dares Wins? There you go. That's you live. That's you live on the show. And
Yeah,
by the way, can I just say to everyone listening, you were an absolute savage on that show, mate. So strong, mate. So strong.
Mate,
absolute beast.
that show was absolutely tough.
Yeah.
It was tough. I don't feel like, I mean, because you was there, but there's no picture that will even get people to understand how tough it is, mentally, physically. It was such a tough show, but yeah, that was a great opportunity. It was a really, really good opportunity.
Yeah, you done really well, and I think the bit that I really respected you for was the swimming part, because like there's a lot of science to back this now that black people have
more difficulty.
It's their bone density, so their bones are heavier than white people, and I remember watching it, and I know you shared with me how difficult you found it, but you was in there, mate. You was straight in there. It was like in the water, and you was in.
You know what it was, right? So one of the core reasons of me going to the show, there's 3 core reasons, but one of them was to be able to live up to what I stand for, which is no matter what's in front of you, you can always give it a try. You can always give it your best effort. Control the fear, silence that voice of fear, and go for it. Yeah. So when the water thing came, I hadn't gone into water since I was like in primary school. Like, I hadn't swam since I was in primary school. I didn't know how to swim until a week before the show, before they started filming us. I went and done some swimming practice, but if you said, swim like 100 yards, I couldn't do it. Do you know what I mean? I just, knew how to like move your arms in the water. That's about it. There wasn't enough time. I didn't give myself enough time. It's my mistake. It happens, but it's one of those ones. So I always knew that there was going to be a water part in there, but I thought, what a great moment to prove to myself or to test myself that what you believe, what you tell people, what the words that come out of your mouth, are they real? Do you believe that you're about to jump in this water here, you're about to jump in it, knowing that you can't swim? So anything can happen. Yeah, you've got like the S's there, but who knows what might happen. So you might go in there and go knock yourself out conscious or whatever, so you could end up dying, or like, do you know what I mean? The worst could happen. But would you still have the self-belief and the I don't even know what to call it at this minute, but the feeling that, silence that fear, the control in yourself to silence that fear and still give it a go anyway. And then when that opportunity came, I did it. I jumped inside the water, and I couldn't swim, which was evident, flapping around there, screaming up the place, but I still did it. And when the DS said, come out and then jump back in, I jumped back in. I, calibrated myself and jumped back in, went for it again. That was just for me to say to myself that, like, you are what you preach. You are what you preach, that no matter what's in front of you, you just take that moment to just silence that fear and just go for it. Take that leap of faith. Take on life.
And that's how it was. That was my vision of you on the show, really, that anything that was put in front of you, you was in the mix, all of it, even with the stuff that was really difficult, so.
It was painful. Those runs, those long runs, like, it's the ones that, I came from a bodybuilding background. Bodybuilding is not about long runs whatsoever. It's about pumping iron. That's it. Do you know what I mean? You only do any kind of long cardio session when you're having to trim down for a competition. Generally, you're just pumping iron. So those long runs were so painful. Like, I was like surprised I wasn't always at the back. But I just thought, you know what? Soon it'll be over. But over this bit of pain is the mental victory, or the actual growth, the physical growth, my lungs getting better, my mindset getting better, my self-belief getting stronger. So just go for it. It'll soon be over. Do you know what I mean? So that was my approach, right? The whole thing.
Yeah, amazing. So where are you at today, Sam? What are you up to now? I know you've signed a non-disclosure agreement. You got something big in the pipipeline coming, so we can't talk about that.
Yeah. So I've got some stuff going on with my friends. I've recently, I sold my gym. I sold my shares of the gym in February, just because I felt like, I'm a big believer in life, that life is not just about earning money. Whatever you're doing, I personally believe you got to ask the question, what am I creating into this world? And if you don't find yourself creating anything, just creating money, then it's like, it's not worth it. In my eyes anyway. People can have their different opinions, but in my eyes, I don't feel like things that you should do should only be for creating money. Do you know what I mean? And that's just came from a point of view of the fact that when we come into this world, one of the things that's given to us is not the ability, it's not money. We're not born into this world and and money is given to us. No, it's the ability to create. That's the one natural thing that we're able to do when we come to this world. Create anything. It could be create happiness. It could be create like something that, it could be anything. But the ability to create is that one thing that we're given. So I feel like in this world, that's all of our purpose. It's not to make money, but to create. Create something that helps humanity anyway. So it got to a point in that business where I felt like, at this point now, I'm just making money. So I'd created everything that I could create. Made the gym a better place. Helped along with my business partner, turned things around, and then we got to a stage where I didn't feel like I could no longer create in this place, in this environment, because it was like a decision that needs to be made. And I could see from the way it was going, I would no longer be able to create. So that means I'm just here to just earn money, and that's not me. So I was like, you know what? It's been great. Let's shake our hands and let's go separate ways. So I've left the gym. I've stopped my one-to-one personal training now as well,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm trying to build the big thing, which, like I said, I can't go too much into detail, but if all goes well, it's going to be a real game changer.
Watch your space.
Yeah, watch this space. So working hard on that. At the moment now, like I said, I'm just doing my online stuff, doing online coaching. That's the only kind of coach I'm doing at the moment. And yes, working on the other projects.
And you got another little one now as well?
No.
So we got a photo.
Yeah, that's my daughter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my little daughter.
So that's your little one there.
Yeah, that's my little daughter.
So
she's. I should have gave you guys a recent picture, but yeah, she's going on to 7 now. She's 6, going on to 7 now.
Wow,
she's a little gem.
So family are good, family man.
Yeah,
inspiring them.
Yeah,
that generation that you can achieve what you want.
Yeah, she's. I mean, she's literally like the person that I draw energy from. I remember there was one day, I can't remember if I think I was getting ready for a competition, or it was either I was getting ready for a competition, I was preparing for the SAS show. I'd woke up in the morning and I'm lying on my bed, like I've got out of the bed, but then when you're lying on the edge and I'm so flat out, so tired, that I just lie back, like hands by my side, like I'm in a crucifix, lying flat onto the bed, eyes closed. She's got up and just I couldn't even hear her coming. I was so tired, I couldn't even hear her coming. She just come up and gave me a hug.
Oh man.
And I mean, I like, my understanding of that hug was like, don't worry, daddy, just like keep at it. Do you know what I mean? And from there I was like, yeah, I ain't even tired the whole do you know what I mean? Let's go. You know what I mean? Like she's my motivation. She really is. She's definitely one of the people that give me that energy, that reason to stay on the right path and stay focused.
Yeah,
do you
man.
know what I mean?
Do you know what I've taken from this talk, Sam? Is like you've decided you went from a place in your life where it was all about earning money, it was all about the paper.
Yeah.
And you've arrived at a place in your life where it's about purpose. And I mean, that's could be the title for this podcast, is purpose over paper.
No, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that, because like I said, I truly don't believe that we're in this world to make money. But for some reason, somebody has switched the books around. Somebody has switched it around that we all, majority of us anyway, feel like, yeah, we're in here, everything that we should do should be about making money, how much we're making. People, rather than people asking you, how's your day been, man? How did you find this journey getting here? Or how like, they don't want to know that. They want to know, what are you doing? How much you making? They're asking what you doing to know how much you making. Where do you sit in society? Should I get to know you, or shouldn't? I don't know why it's gone that way, but it has. But I don't subscribe to that. I believe that, look, we're in this world to create something that's going to better humanity. So I try and live my life every day to the best of my ability, doing whatever I possibly can without hurting other people. I don't believe there's a certain way to live as well. I don't believe that. I feel like you can live however you want to live. Just don't hurt nobody. Try and create something positive. Try and leave something positive in this world when you leave, and that's it. Yeah. No rules. Just who should make the rules? Yeah,
it's inspirational stuff, mate. So just before we wrap it up, we can find you. You're on Instagram and Facebook. We'll put links up on here anyway. It's at Sam Knows Fitness. So we can find you there and watch your space, what you're doing. Yeah. The final question I ask everyone is, when it's all said and done, what will they say about Sam Aremu?
Oh man, I hadn't even thought about that. What would they say?
In one sentence.
He's a man that tried to leave the world more positive than what he walked into.
Oh, powerful. You're doing it already, mate. You're living that already, mate. So,
thank you.
Mate, privilege for you to come on. And honestly, mate, I really respect and honour you as a friend. It's a privilege to call you a friend, mate.
Thank you,
Thanks for coming on.
You too. You've motivated me the whole journey, being here, to you releasing your book. This has been very, very motivational. So, right back at you, my bro.
Yeah,
right
cool.
back at you.
Cool. Nice one, bro. Cool, man.